Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the PHP series. In this episode of the PHP series, that is episode 6, we are going to be diving into a core concept in PHP, which are functions. Now, in this episode, you'll learn how to declare them, pass parameters, return values, and use default arguments in a function. If you have written JavaScript code before, a lot of this will feel familiar. But PHP does have some of its own rules. So let's jump right in. First of all, I will open my XAMPP Apache server and then I'll start writing some PHP code. So first of all, I'll show you guys a default, just a syntax of how to declare a function. First, you write the function keyword, then you name your function. My function will be named say hello, and then inside our curly braces, we will write the code that is to be executed when this function is called. So let's say when I call say hello, I want it to literally say hello. So echo hello and an exclamation mark. So all this function does is it says hello. It prints out hello onto our web page. So in order to call our function, we would type out say hello, its function name, a set of parentheses, and then close. Now this will output to hello. Now in order to check that, I'll open my localhost link, and as expected, it does say hello. Do keep in mind that for a function to execute its code, you have to call it. So if I don't call this function, the code will not execute. So it'll just be blank. So that's how you use functions. Pretty simple, right? Function names can contain letters, numbers, and underscores, but must start with a letter or an underscore. So it can't start with a number, or else it will throw you an error. Also, PHP function names are not case sensitive, though it's a good habit to stay consistent. So say hello and say hello are essentially the same, but it's nice and consistent to use a casing or a casing of your choice. And unlike JavaScript, PHP lets you define your functions after they are called because it parses all the function definitions before running the code. So if I call this function before I declare it, it should still execute fine. Now what we just discussed before was a really basic function. This function just says hello and that's about it. But functions can also accept parameters that are values passed into them. So inside a function, you work with those values and you can return a result. So let's say I call this function here and I call this greet user, okay? And I pass in a parameter of name. So let's say name. And I use name over here, right? Now what happens is when you call a function using an argument, which is a value passed when you call a function. So suppose I pass a value called Sam, right? Now what happens is this value that we pass into a function when we call it takes the place of the parameter and is essentially used inside the function wherever that value is called. So instead of hello name, it prints out to hello Sam. And let's see what happens. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to change. Okay, my bad. I forgot to change the name of. Okay, so this should output to hello Sam. Okay, I thought I made a mistake there. I did make a mistake. I thought I didn't know what mistake was there. So these are what you call parameters. In this case, the function greets our user, whatever name is passed into this. So if I type in Bob, this is return hello Bob. So pretty simple, right? Another case of using parameters is let's suppose we declare a function called add, and inside add we send in our two values to be added. So these are parameters, the values that you pass into a function which will be used later. So let's say we return a function, return a value of a plus b, and this is the return keyword. This returns a value from a function when you call it. So suppose I echo add and then 2 and 3. Now as I explained before, this is in a serial way. So this is in order. First, since we have passed 2 first, and since we have defined a first, 2 will take the value of a, and well, I mean, it's the other way around. A will take the value of 2 and B will take the value of 3. So it will return 2 plus 3 since A and B are returned. So 2 plus 3. It should return to 5. Now let's see. Okay, here's 5. So that's how parameters and return values in a function work. So this is pretty similar to JavaScript, but do notice that we don't need to use let or cons for parameters in PHP. And you can also use type hints to ensure the values are of the correct type. So if you want to ensure the value passed in are integers, you can use int and int before a and b. And if you want to make sure that the value that is returned is an integer, you can type out a column before our curly braces and int. So this will make sure that it returns an integer. This is optional, but it helps catch bugs early. Okay, now that you know about passing parameters in a function, let's talk about default parameters. Default parameters means that you can set default values for your parameters. So if no value is passed when you call a function, the default value is used. Let's say we use this greet user function once again, but instead of just passing in name, we can set a default value for name. So let's say we keep a default value for name as guest. Now, I have called our, okay, I'll comment this add function out so that I can display it clearly. Now, as you can see, I have passed Bob as a parameter, or when you pass, okay, one quick tip or a fun fact, when you pass in values while calling a function, this is not called a parameter, but it is called an argument. So when you pass in an argument, it is definitely used in place of the parameter. There's no doubt in that, right? So hello Bob is printed out. But if you don't want to pass in a specific value, you can set a default value to be used in place of a parameter. So if I don't pass any value while calling this greet user function, it will default to hello guest. So if no value is passed, the guest value will be used in place of name. And that is what default parameters are all about. But you do have to consider one important rule while using default parameters. That is, default parameters must always come after required ones. So for example, if I use this default parameter, it's fine, right? But if I pass in another parameter called message, and I use the message value inside our code, this will result in an error. So if I pass in a message, I hope you are doing well, you might think that it'll just use name, that is guest, in place of name, but it'll definitely use this message, right? But this will result in an error. So if we just simply change the order of our parameters, that is, if we keep our default parameter at the end, let's see what happens, shall we? See, it defaults to guest while using name, but it prints out our message. So please keep in mind that default parameters should be passed in at the end. And that is why the order you pass in your parameters or the order you call your arguments works well. So if I use Bob, it should output to hello Bob, I hope you are doing well. So I hope everything is clear and understood. Now, we have learned the basic gist of how you can use functions and how you can use parameters and also use default parameters. Now let's apply everything we have learned so far, not only in this episode, but in this whole series, and build something simple. That is, we're going to be building a real world mini project, a calculator. And we'll be building a calculator with a function called calculator. Now this function will take in 3 parameters, our 2 values that we are going to operate with, and the operator that we are going to use. So first of all, let's declare our calculator function. So calculator, and this will take in 3 parameters. Like I said, first of all, variable a, let's be more descriptive, num1, our second number num2, and then our operator. So let's call it op. Okay, so operator. Now if, let's say this is a pretty simple calculator, so calculator that performs basic arithmetics. Okay, so first of all, if our operator's value op is equal to plus symbol, we will return num1 plus num2. So pretty simple. We'll be using this very logic throughout our calculator. Else if our OP's value, so operator, is equal to minus, we will return num1 minus num2. Now I'll copy this line about 2 times, since one is for after subtraction, one is for, oh, didn't mean to do this. Now where was I? So first for multiplying and then for division. So we'll just change the operators. If the operator is an asterisk sign, we will return the multiplication, so asterisk sign. And then for our division, we will do a bit something different. So first of all, we'll check if our second operator, if our second parameter, that is the dividing number, that is the divisor, is 0 or not. So if our num2 is not equal to 0, we will just return a divided by, num1 divided by num2. But if our num2 is equal to 0, that is this condition is false, we will pass in a message that cannot divide by 0. Now if you remember from our control statements episode, this is the ternary operator. That is, this is, first of all, this is a condition. We are checking if num2 is not equal to 0. Is not equal to 0. If num2 is not equal to 0, then fine, we'll just return the quotient, that is num1 divided by num2. But if it is equal to 0, that is after colon, we will pass in a message that you cannot divide by 0. And after all these else ifs, we'll use an else. That is, this is a simple calculator. So if the user, or if we pass in any arguments other than these 4 symbols, we'll just say invalid operator. Okay, and then end this. Now this is our complete mini calculator function. Now let's test it out. So first of all, we'll echo calculator, and then we'll pass in 2, 3, and then plus, let's say at first. So it should output to 5. Let's see. Okay, 5. Now at the same place, if we do minus, it should output to -1. 2 times 3, and that is multiplication, it should output to 6. And if we use the dividing operator, it will give us the quotient. Now let's see if it handles our division by 0. So cannot divide by 0. And for one final check, what if we pass in an invalid operator? So let's say we pass in p. Now what does it say? It says invalid operator. So depending on the operator, it performs the correct calculation and returns the result. And notice how we even handle the division by 0 error, which is a common edge case. So this kind of utility function is very useful, and I hope you get the gist of how we can use functions with this example. Okay, and that's about it for this video. You know how to write and use functions in PHP, and functions help keep your code modular, reusable, and easier to manage, especially as your projects grow. And in the next episode, we'll be exploring super globals like the get and post method, and how PHP handles data sent through forms, URLs, and more. So this is where your pages start reacting to user input. So it's a key step in making interactive PHP sites. So hope you stay tuned and wait for our next video. If you found this video helpful and informative, please do leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll be pushing out such videos later. So until then, bye bye and happy coding.